A La-Crosse man is facing his third OWI charge.
An Oakdale woman has life-threatening injuries after a crash with the driver, suspected to be under the influence.
The choices we make have consequences. Some are good, some leave scars that last a lifetime.
Police arrest 9 people for charges of operating while intoxicated.
You know, it was just another day at work.
Last month, Cameron Hazard drove along Interstate 94 near Toma, heading back home to Minnesota.
We have a vehicle accident, the wrong way driver.
You know, I was on the road, and then next thing you know, I'm upside down in the ditch.
Cameron's hip shattered. Unable to walk, he crawled out of his truck window and along the ground in pitch darkness to safety.
I had to kind of like pry myself out. It was some of the worst pain I ever experienced.
We know that there's multi-vehicles. A minivan is on fire. We have one that we're going to need to cut out.
A wrong-way driver collided with Cameron's truck and several other vehicles. The criminal complaint shows an officer found an open drink in the wrong-way driver's car.
Open intox to Unit 1.
It is probably one of the most pressing issues for the state of Wisconsin.
According to an FBI study, the average OWI offender drives drunk at least 80 times before he or she is ever caught. Wisconsin is the only state where a first offense OWI is not a crime. A first offense is equal to a traffic ticket.
Non-criminal, so it's not even a misdemeanor.
La-crosse-county-circuit-court Judge Elliot Levine says it takes 4 convictions to be charged with a felony. The law requires ignition interlock devices for drivers arrested with blood alcohol levels at 0.15 or higher, and all repeat offenders.
If you're over .02, you can't start your car.
The penalties are more severe if a child is in the car. A first-time offender with a child under 16 in the car can be charged with a misdemeanor offense. Judge Levine believes tighter laws and more education help control the problem.
It's been better over the last 15 years.
Wisconsin records some of the highest convictions and alcohol-related crashes in the country. Nearly a third of Wisconsin's 2020 OWI convictions are repeat offenders. Judge Levine understands the calls for more jail time and penalties. However, he says this only delays the inevitable.
So if you don't give them the ability to get a license, they're in all likelihood going to drive anyway.
In La-Crosse County, drunk drivers are eligible for OWI treatment court.
And it's all about choice. They don't have to do any of it. But when a person decides they want to change, that's when growth can start.
Making the right choices
I was getting headlines.
are not easy.
I was getting arrested.
Dean Chekowitz says
My addiction had me totally lost.
he made plenty of wrong decisions during his 40-year battle with addiction.
I had several overdoses.
About a decade ago on Badger Street and West Avenue, red and blue lights appeared in Dean's mirror. His 5th OWI. This is the place where Dean's life changed.
I had just said a prayer. God, please end this madness. I can't do it anymore. And I had prayed that prayer for 20 years.
Dean made a life-changing choice by enrolling in La-Crosse County's OWI treatment court.
I wasn't used to a court caring. I was used to lock them up because they broke the law.
The court did not offer Dean a free pass.
$44,000. That's what my 5th OWI cost me.
Dean's convinced if he would have driven one more day, he could have killed someone.
And I've seen horror stories of guys that were, people that were put in jail for a long time for vehicular homicide.
And if you think this only affects people with major alcohol problems, consider these numbers.
The most fatalities happen with OWI first.
A 2019 UW-Madison Population Health Institute study found 58% of people arrested for OWI who caused injuries or death in a crash had no prior OWI arrests.
Are they intentional in the sense that I intended to kill somebody? No. Are they responsible? Absolutely.
Dean begs you, leave your keys at home, or that same key might change your life.
It might be the prison door key, the one that the jailer keeps when he locks you up.
Do these treatment courts work? Levine says there's no definite proof. However, UW-Madison found drivers who participate in Wisconsin's intoxicated driver program were far less likely to be arrested again than those who chose not to comply. Cameron, Dean, and Judge Levine all have different perspectives. Nonetheless, they have a unified warning to drivers. All it takes is one time.
This scene is large enough that we haven't surveyed the whole thing yet.
I got a lot of calls from my 5-year-old. She's a very emotional little girl, and she missed her dad. And I love her to pieces.
After the crash, Cameron returned home and hugged his family again.
I'm busted up and I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm alive.
Another driver involved in the crash did not. He was 29 years old. The Monroe-County-district-attorney charged Carrie Herbst with first-degree reckless homicide and homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. According to Wisconsin court records, Herbst had no prior convictions. If convicted in this one crash, she could spend a century behind bars.
I haven't been able to walk since the accident. All the lives that were changed, and everybody that's got to deal with this.
The consequences of someone else's poor choice.
Wait for the cab. It's worth it.
Upon graduation from treatment court, Dean chose a life of sobriety and a life of service.
It's called experience. It's called strength, and it's called hope.
Hope.
That's purpose.
Hope this program will help someone else.
We're here to save the community. We're here to keep the community safe.
Teaching people to make the right choices.
We know if we can change their behavior, it will keep us safer.
Preventing one more death on Wisconsin's roads. This is Jordan Fremstad, News 8 Now, La Crosse.